All right, we are good to go. And just a reminder to everyone in chat that I am going to be focused on my players and the session. So if you're asking questions about Shadows of Change, you will have to wait until after session, where I will happily answer all of those, but I'm not going to do that until then. So last time, which was a very long time ago, y'all made it to Bogenhofen. You had your big run-in encounter with the Manticore. You made it to the city of Bogenhofen, and you wandered around the streets a little bit among all the teeming masses, where you eventually made your way to, I think it was Lock, Stock, and Barrel, which turned out to be fake. It was not a real law office at all. It was a sham, and you were actually, it was a trap set for you, seemingly by the mysterious man in black that y'all had been encountering on and off since Altdorf, who also attempted to kill you back in Kemperbad. So, unfortunately for him, however, something happened. So, as y'all were locked inside lawyers' offices, you heard some horrible screaming and the sounds of bones cracking and people being ripped apart. And when you finally managed to get your way out of the lawyers' offices, all you found along the rooftops were just mangled corpses. Horribly, horribly mangled corpses. And the bounty hunter in particular, his heart was missing. But, they were they had some missing organs and other various issues. But, they were super dead, and you have no idea what did that. But after that, you ran away because, what are you going to tell the watch? So you ran for your lives and made your way to the Schaffenfest and decided, screw that, let's not worry about it, where you have been busying yourselves amongst the masses and enjoying the festival. You had a couple of minor encounters just to refresh some memories. Dorothandrel ran into some, shall we say, not country bumpkin hoodlums that were not very fond of elves. But luckily, the rest of you were able to intimidate them off quite easily, and they scattered, deciding that it would be easier to find some easier prey, so to speak, and left the elf alone. Meanwhile, you also encountered the dwarf Gottfried Gurnison, who was just the absolute. He's just sad. He was just the saddest dwarf that has ever dwarfed. He was an absolutely miserable drunk that was stuck in the stockades, and the whole situation was just awful. Y'all did take it upon yourselves to go meet with the judge, the festival judge, Heinz Richter, where you were able to speak with him briefly. And I don't remember who it was, but one of y'all paid for Gottfried's release. And he begged and whined and just would not leave y'all alone until I think somebody else finally broke and gave him enough coin to buy drinks. And then he waddled off.
It was Sig's one.
Yeah. So it was all
Astaroth freedom, and then
Yes, that's right. Drinks. Yes, Astaroth freedom, and then I think proceeded to regret it immensely. And then after that, y'all made your way north into the livestock pens because Astaroth was looking for a horse, and you managed to find a woman whose name I cannot remember for the life of me. Now that Olma, thank you. Jesus, I'm so glad you remembered that because I did not. So y'all met Olma, who is a woman that is seemingly from Araby, or at least definitely from lands south of here. And she had a couple of rather exotic steeds with her, which definitely being an Arabian stallion, that you were able to purchase for no small sum. And once you find a proper place of lodging, she will have it sent to the stables there, as is appropriate. And you were also able to get the necessary thingamajiggers you needed for a horse. So you got a saddle and tack and all that. However, after that, and getting up to where we left off, y'all heard a big commotion. You heard some absolutely just loud and obnoxious screeching coming from some kind of creature. And after wandering the pens for a little bit, you went into the poultry section and found right next to it, by a whole bunch of absolutely terrorized birds, was a hippogriff that has been contained within a cage, and it is not happy about it. And there seems to be some sort of monster hunter or monster tracker or trapper or whatever you would like to call him by the name of Gordy Windisehen, which you heard because he was being fussed at by one of the men in charge of the livestock pens, because that is the main attraction to the Schaffenfest, is that you could sell livestock here on the third day of the festival without tax, which means that you make substantially more money. It's basically the Black Friday of the Empire. So everyone brings all of their various livestock, and Windisehen has gotten himself under the assumption that that means any creature should technically count. But much to his annoyance, as y'all were walking up, he was being informed that a hippogriff does not count as livestock, and it does not count as poultry, which is what he attempted to have it licensed under. So, that is, we kind of left right off there, with y'all seeing this grizzled bounty hunter, or monster tracker, I should say, being dressed down by one of the people helping run the Schaffenfest, one of the people that helps make sure everything runs smoothly, before that person kind of gets in a huff and stomps off, and he's left there just with a deep scowl on his face, trying to figure out if he wants to try and sell the hippogriff for the immense amount of taxes he's going to have to pay, if he can even find anybody willing to buy the damn thing. And that is where we shall start. Y'all witness this exchange of words. This gruff, grizzled individual. Most of his hair is gone. He's got some deep scars across his faces. Wearing very, very practical armor. A lot of like heavy leathers and some like boiled leathers. That allows him for a lot of flexibility while being like reasonably well defended, at least against typical claws. Though when you look at like the hippogriff, that seems doubtful that that thing would be held back from ripping him to absolute pieces. But he's just sort of standing there, scowling at the ground, not really looking at anybody, and you can tell that it's probably somewhere between a mixture of embarrassment and also the restraint needed not to absolutely strangle the man that just told him he's not allowed to do what he wants to do.
Well, if he caught that, he might have some tricks for fighting other things that fly.
Aye, that's true. I'm gonna just approach the gentleman as he's sitting there scowling, and I walk right up to him and go, "Oi, that's a weird looking griffin. I ain't seen one like that before."
He will glare up at you and he goes, "That's because it's not a griffin. The hell do you want? You looking to buy?"
Or how much would you sell it for?
He looks over and he goes, "I think, well, it's not sell day yet, but I think 1,000 crowns would be reasonable. For a proper hippogriff. Comes to the Grey Mountains, it does. Good stock."
1,000 crowns. Yeesh.
The beast is extremely loud this close. It lets out these avian shrieks that, although the beast is contained, undoubtedly, within the cage, it has hurled itself at the cage a couple of times. And there you feel 100% confident it's not going to be able to get out. Nevertheless, every time it does let out one of those shrieks, there's like a very primal part of yourself that goes, ugh, because this thing... Hippogriffs are notorious hunters, especially in that, unlike many other large creatures, the thing about hippogriffs is they're incredibly agile. They're also notoriously stubborn when it comes to defending themselves, or if something angers them, they will flat out take it on. regardless of like how much bigger it is. They kind of have that mix of a horse's just abject unwillingness to do what others would wish for it to do when it has its mind set upon, while also being mixed with a extreme bird of prey, where it does not have the skittishness that is normally associated with horses, despite the fact that it has the back half of a horse. Instead, all the horse aspect of it seems to do is make sure that it is incredibly swift when moving across the ground, even compared to other large creatures like a griffin. It's a little smaller than like a full-size griffin, but not by much. It's still easily capable of ripping a man, or even an ogre, to pieces should it want.
I'll look at the hippogriff. I'll turn to him and go, "Oi, unfortunately, no. I don't think I'll ever have 1,000 crowns for the duration of my life. But perhaps I could give you a shilling or two for just a moment of your time."
He kind of pauses at that. He goes, "Well, I'm not. I have to stay here and watch the damn thing. Can't trust any of these damn country hoodlums not to try and mess with it. Already caught a couple people almost got their arms ripped off trying to stick their hands through the bars."
Oh, no, we wouldn't have to move, sir. No, I just need to ask you a couple of questions if you don't mind.
Then ask.
I assume you're a beast hunter of sorts.
Aye, you could say that.
What have you heard, or what do you know about the Manticore that has been rumored to be about?
Boy, in my line of work, do you know how many manticores I've had to deal with? Do you have any idea how many manticores are active right now in the Grey Mountains, the Black Mountains, the Middle Mountains, the World's Edge Mountains? They're everywhere. You're gonna
So I
have to be
assume
more
then-
specific.
And I assume then you know of the one that's been around between Midland and here.
He kind of pauses for a moment. I need my dice. Give me your dice. Where's the other one? There it is. Because there are a couple rolls that I will do in person because I took some in-person notes. Let me see if he has been paying attention to rumors. He gives you a blank look. He just kind of shrugs.
So it's not usual for to find them not in mountains.
Not often. Every once in a while, they'll come down if they get real hungry. Why, you hunted one?
Saw one. North of Weissbrook.
Weissbrook, that's where y'all get ambushed, not Kemperbed. Anyway, he narrows his eyes a little bit, and you can tell you could see almost him tucking away that piece of information. It goes, "No, this is first I'm hearing of it."
How big would you say they usually get?
He kind of gestures to the hippogriff that he's got in the cage. He says, "Around that size, maybe a little bit thicker, but not as long in the body."
After just starts fucking laughing. Just
Yes, calm down.
Oh my.
He looks
so
very
typically not bigger than that.
No. Unless, I mean, there are rumors that some of the ones that come out of the wastes are larger. Those that come down with the Chaos Hosts. But I've never seen one that size.
Do they typically have red manes going to black? Occasional skulls and it's caught in its fur or hair?
beady yellow eyes that bear some resemblance of human intelligence.
I don't think you saw its eyes when you were running away.
It looked me in the eyes. That's what made me run away.
He kind of let's have one of, I don't care which one of you it is, but one of you roll me a, actually you could all do it. Roll a charm check.
Average.
No, it's challenging because it's opposed. Well, he rolled absolute garbage. Well, luckily for all of you, Lenny rolled very well.
Yeah, Lenny.
I will be polite on this instance and ignore the crit fail. But he kind of, he looks at Lenny in particular, and it could be surmised that a lot of your exoticness tends to catch his attention, and you can also kind of tell from the appraising look he gives you that this man might have dealt with your people before. And he kind of pauses for a moment, and he says, "You saw this beast too."
Indeed, it was rather large.
It was bigger than this, and he gestures to the hippogriff. It was.
Yeah.
He kind of like he kind of, his tongue comes out and like licks across his top lip, where a little bit of one of his scars kind of tucks into his lip where he might have been clawed at some time ago, and he pauses for a moment. And he says, "That's pretty rare. The fact that you saw it and got away should count yourselves lucky."
Yes, we were immensely lucky. Currently don't know what to do with what we experienced, but we were hoping that maybe you had some insight. Perhaps it doesn't appear so. I'm sorry to bother you. Thank you for, answering our questions.
Well, if you're looking for a tracker or a trapper, then I'm your man. I've got 30 years experience finding these beasts, taking down 2 manticores in my life. Not memories that I care to revisit, though. Unpleasant beasts. But Gordy Wedhedson is your man. For a price, of course. Dangerous business, this.
There is a pretty large bounty on its head.
How large?
I look at the rest of the group. Is it 500?
I want to say it was 500.
500 crowns?
His eyebrows do shoot up at this. He goes, 500 crowns. Just to kill it?
Yes, and I don't doubt after the last couple of days, and maybe some events that may happen in the future, that the bounty will probably go up.
How it might have gone up after it took out that Knights Panther group.
The Weissbook is probably gone.
His brows furrow a bit as he says, Knights Panther. How many?
Dozen.
At once?
A dozen Knights Panther at once. We were not there. We found the bodies, or what was left of them. But they appeared to be Knights Panther of some elite stats in some inner circle, perhaps.
He pales a bit at this before just sort of nodding slowly and says, well, I can certainly come on as an advisor, if that's what you're looking for. Maybe sell you a couple things that could help in the hunt, if you're determined to go after it. Suicide mission, if you ask me. Just walking into Moore's embrace.
Dorathandrel is nodding in the background.
Sounds like you should be leaving that business to an army. Not the... Is it just you four?
Yes. We had an ogre. Well,
Tull's teeth, you don't even have a dwarf with you.
Would they help?
we-
Dorathander will say, being an evident elf.
Aye. No offense, Master Elf. Not terribly familiar with your kind. Though I hear you're decent hunters out of the forest down south. You don't look like one of them types, though.
No.
Could I attempt to roll just to see if I feel like he's genuine in like his offer to come along, kind of thing? Or
yes, roll a challenging intuition check. Ooh, nice. So you get the very strong sense that he's definitely trying to sell you something. From the way he's kind of using his language, it seems like he's far more inclined to help you from a distance as opposed to going along to hunt by your side. Though you suspect this has more to do with that you may not necessarily look like y'all have the largest bank. And also, there's only 4 of you, and he probably sees joining the 4 of you and hunting a creature bigger than the ones he's dealt with as just suicide. So why would he offer to come along with if he's just going to die?
fair. I can't really blame him.
But he does seem to be very genuine about offering his services in at least some capacity.
Okay. So I'll turn to him and say, so you can come along with us if you would like. If not, what do you think you could do for us?
Well, depends on how long you're staying in Bogenhofen. I'm not doing anything other than watching this big damn chicken. I could give you some training, maybe, some supplies, advice, for a fee, of course. My services are rare. And he says, kind of standing up to his full height, puffing out his chest a little bit.
How much for your services? We're going to be here for at least the festival, maybe a day or two after, depending on if anything occurs.
10 silver a day.
So I have 40 silver. What do you guys have?
And if you could pay, I'll come with you. But I ain't fighting it. Not unless you get a whole lot more men.
I got 20.
I've got a crown and 10.
The party stash has 20.
What do you fine gentlemen think we should do? You want to spend the coin to get some supplies and some training?
He kind of, like, once he realizes that y'all are seriously considering this, he kind of pauses and he says, hold up a moment. I have an offer for you.
Okay.
He kind of jerks a thumb over at, and you can see the guy he was talking to earlier walking around with, like, a whole bunch of little scribbled notes about his person. He's got, like, all sorts of little if you saw him from a distance, you would almost mistake him for one of those flagellants or warrior priests that have little bits of scripture torn out and pasted all over their bodies. But you realize that's not what this man is. He's literally just trying to keep track of an absolutely obscene amount of numbers and records about everyone that has arrived to sell at the Schaffenfest. And each one of these little pieces of paper are him trying to keep up with and record from all these farmers and ranchers and everybody under the sun that's come to sell that was dealing with him earlier. And he goes, these chicken shit bastards aren't letting me sell the beast here. Say it's not proper livestock. If you four could find some way to convince them, let them sell it, let me sell it tax-free, let me pocket everything, I'll help you out. For free. Won't charge you a thing. I'll give you all my advice. I'll give you some proper supplies. If you can make this work, it'll be worth way more than what you would give me anyway.
Astaroth. Astaroth gets a little grin on his face and says, I like the sound of that plan. Do any of you object?
Lenny looks at Dorth Angel.
Perhaps we could do something.
Lenny, I believe that man is in need of convincing.
You got till Gelgrubentag. You got it?
When is this Geltgrubentag?
3rd day.
The festival. It's when the tax-free day is.
Aye, last day. Got till then. Deal? And he holds out his hand.
Is everyone in
Enough.
agreement?
Yeah.
Fine by me.
I'll reach out and I'll shake his hand.
He grins and goes, good. And if you do anything illegal and you get caught, if you mention my name, I'll gut you.
Oh, no. I would never do that to a friend.
He shakes shakes your hand a little more vigorously, and nods and says, well, best of luck then. Till then, if you want anything from me, 10 silver a day, but I'll pay you back if you pull it off. Deal?
Deal.
Good.
Well, all right, let's get to work then.
Oh,
I'll start.
as he's about to pull away, he kind of turns back, and as he's talking to y'all, he approaches a barrel that you can see flies moving around, and he pulls the lid off, and you see it's just full of meat, some of which might have gone rancid at this point, but it's just raw meat, and he's just picking up hunks of it and throwing it into the cage, and the hippogriff quiets down a little bit as it just starts tearing into everything he throws in there. You can't help but notice, almost with a little bit of disgust, that the creature does not just eat what he throws in, it goes out of its way to shred it, almost as if making sure it is absolutely dead before it starts to eat. And he goes, what are your names anyhow?
Lenny.
Astaroth von Hurlstein.
Sigmund Faust von Serig.
Dorothandrel Dendyheart.
Only one of you seems very down to earth for monster trekking, and he says, nodding his head at Lenny. Too many words in your names. You can call me Gordy.
Pleasure to meet you.
All right, then. If there's nothing else. And he just sort of gives you a dismissive nod.
So, gents, how do you think we should go about this?
Pay a lawyer to figure out why a hippogriff is livestock.
I know a non-existent lawyer's office.
I
don't think that office will work.
I had the idea, because there's not a lot of elves around. Perhaps Dorthandrel could pretend to be someone who's merchant inclined or something like that, and try and convince this guy.
I am not a merchant.
Yeah, just looking at Dorthandrel.
I know Dorthandrel's not a merchant, but I'm saying he could pretend because the guy might not be that intelligent. And speaking to an elf, he's probably going to assume that the elf might know more than he does.
I mean, the person we probably have to convince is that Judge Richter we talked to before.
And we couldn't just go through the guy who's walking around?
You could try. He probably would not agree.
And what else does anyone else have any suggestions?
You mean more suggestions?
Could always think on it as y'all are wandering through the festival if you want to keep exploring that, or you could head back into town.
Yeah, so
I
I'm
think-
I'm speaking like candidly. I was speaking out of character.
Oh, okay. Well, you might as well.
that's the
You
main
might as well.
character.
You might as well speak in character because it's going to be the same conversation.
Yeah. I know there's noble families that raise the demigryphs that are used. So, what's the difference between those if they were here? They'd be considered livestock.
But do they bring them here to
That's
sell?
actually a good point.
Totally didn't get that from watching Warhammer, which y'all should go watch.
You know,
Oh,
we
man.
could ask around. Perhaps there's some who have come to sell off their stock for free or without taxes.
Yeah, we could do that.
Hmm.
We're gonna walk around though. I want a pint.
So, are y'all wanting to? So, just to make sure I understand correctly, are you wanting to ask around the livestock pens if anybody is here selling demigryphs?
I think we could look around for the biggest beast here that seems out of place and see.
You're
Are there?
you're standing in front of it.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think
We
we're
can look
at
for
it.
another one. I'm sure
I
there's
think-
more.
I think we would have heard them by now if there was more.
Lenny's just gonna do a quick look around.
Go. You can, Lenny. You can go ahead and just roll like an average gossip check.
Yeah. It's like the lady selling crazy horses, maybe. Yeah, gossip.
They're exotic horses, but they're still horses.
Oh,
Let's
Oh,
go.
All right.
we are rolling really
that'll-
well.
Yeah, Lenny. Through thanks to your just delightful nature, you're such a charming fellow. That everyone is keen to chat with you. You almost get the feeling that everyone's kind of talking you up in the hopes that maybe you're going to be coming back later to buy. So they are being almost tripping over themselves levels of helpful to try and ingratiate themselves with you. But it becomes very, very quickly clear that that absolute madman over in the poultry section is the only one who brought something so dangerous and idiotic to the festival. There is no way in 1,000 years anybody would have brought anything like that, because who would consider a hippogriff to be livestock? It's a beast of war at best, and hippogriffs are debatably one of the most dangerous beasts of war. They're actually very rarely used in the Empire, if ever, because most people cannot handle them at all. They're far too dangerous. They are well known, and the thing is, it's making everyone in the livestock pens extra nervous, because the thing about hippogriffs that's very well known by people who have dealt with them before, which a lot of these ranchers in particular have, is that hippogriffs are very unique compared to most other monstrous creatures that might prey on driving herds that are moving their way through the lanes of the Empire or Bretonia or wherever you may be. And the problem with hippogriffs compared to, say, a manticore or a griffin or anything else of that ilk is that hippogriffs do not kill only what they're going to eat. Instead, hippogriffs kill everything. They're
spiteful.
They will slaughter everything when they get into a killing mood. They will just wipe out the entire herd of animals, then eat only what they want, and then leave. So, like, for ranchers, a lot of people are... Man, you got an astounding success. You definitely catch some undertones of various individuals who seem to not... who are subtly kind of almost gauging that somebody should do something about that hippogriff before it gets out and kills everybody's stock.
Mm. Okay. What's the party doing while I'm out talking?
Presumably
with
just kind of following you around.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead with that information.
I guess maybe if we do a maybe like we can get the hippogriff out of here if they just play around with the taxes a bit.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
that
one
could
way to
work.
look at it. Maybe try and find some noble out and about and convince them that purchasing the hippogriff would be like a status symbol for them or something.
But yeah, seems like everyone here wants him out as much as we do, so in that sense we're aligned.
Sigmund, what do you think?
If at this point we should try and argue that we should get it sold so it's out of the Schaffenfest and not a potential public hazard. But there's also the downside of calling it a public hazard and maybe them just wanting it out, period.
Who do you think is actually capable of handling that hippogriff? Because I'm fairly certain the only qualified individual in this area is likely the man selling it.
Dorothandrel, do you have like lore Marienburg or anything like that?
No, just lore oceans.
Roll me a -20 lore oceans.
I have Lore Empire and Lore Beasts. I don't know if that...
You can roll a challenging lore beast if you'd like. All right, never mind. Carry on, gentlemen.
Best we can hope for is a noble that has their Beastmaster with them. You know,
Perhaps someone from the military, the Reichsguard, or the garrison of Altdorf might be able to do something with it.
I will remind you all, just because it's been a hot minute since last session, there is a whole bunch of rabble about the there are jousting tourneys taking place, and there are it is like a full-on province versus province situation, where the local duke is actually going up against the traveling elector count from, oh my god, my brain, which elector count is it that came down. So there is a joust that is taking place between so the local Graf Wilhelm von Saponethheim, who owns this area.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What?
What's so funny?
The Graf's name.
Saponethheim?
Yeah.
What? Illuminate me.
Just the way it came out.
Oh.
Yeah, it was such a long name.
Welcome to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Better get used to it. But also the opposing house that has come to face off against him is Grand Duke Leopold of Midland, who is a full-on elector count. Being the elector count of Midland. Because remember, in this, where we are in the timeline, Midland is its own province, and Middenheim is a different province.
Given that, we could perhaps convince. I would say the elector count probably has a bigger coin purse than the local duke. Perhaps we could convince his retinue that having a hippogriff would give him a better chance.
Yeah, but the local Graf might want the extra status of having that as something to boast about.
What is the prize for winning this tourney?
That is a great question that you would need to probably ask someone who knows.
Are you thinking of joining yourself?
I will note, it is very, 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 very much not open to the public to participate. It is a closed list tourney.
Nice. I ask anyways. I don't know.
Well,
No,
it is likely Lenny would not know that. Dorothandrel would absolutely know that.
I was just thinking perhaps whoever is procuring the victor spoils might want to throw in the prestige of your own hippogriff.
Ah! I did not That's a very good idea. I did not think of that at all. I like that idea.
After all, if they are connected with operating the Schaffenfest, surely they could benefit Gertie with a tax-free sale and maybe get a deal on a cheaper amount than the 1,000 crowns.
Here, I'll type it in chat. Gordy.
Gordy.
It looks like we have multiple avenues to approach this. I think we should go with Dothandrels first. Find whoever is overseeing this event. Offer the Griffin up as a potential spoil. If that doesn't work, then we can mayhaps look into getting one of the dukes in the Elector Count to purchase it. But I think we would have a good chance with Dothandrels' plan. Does anyone else have any other ideas?
No, I mean, even if Dothandrels' plan doesn't work, it puts us in the right area to ask the other two.
Yeah, no, exactly. All right. I'm going to start trying to get information on where I would find such a person.
I mean, okay. Roll. What is it specific? Remember, y'all are in the livestock yards. Y'all aren't even really in the festival at this point. Like, not the. You're more like in the area where everyone's doing business, not in the area where people are like selling drinks and pretzels and food and there's games and stuff like that. You're kind of out north of that. What is it you're wanting to ask around about in this area, or do y'all want to move somewhere else first?
Probably. Can we see the I forget what they're called, but where they're going to be having the
tourney grounds?
Tourney grounds?
Yeah.
Yes, y'all know, because you saw plenty of like signs and stuff about it, that the tourney grounds are being hosted all the way down on the other side.
Okay.
They are as far away from the foul-smelling livestock yards as they possibly can be.
So we can just make our way down there. And, yeah.
All right, so y'all gonna head down that direction?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Blood Bowl ball is on the move. All right, so you make your way back into the Schaffenfest proper. You leave behind all of the squalor and foul-smelling odor of just thousands and thousands of animals, and make your way into the distinct odor of instead thousands and thousands of people, which is not necessarily better. It's just different. As you make your way in, and you are once more against the teeming masses, you're passing by beer tents. People are hawking for selling all different kinds of food. There's halflings selling pies. There's people walking around with big sticks that got pretzels looped on them that are offering those for folks. There's lots of beer maids walking around. If you want to like grab anything as you're going about, feel free to interrupt me at any point. But as you make your way properly out of the livestock market and into the midst of the Schaffenfest again, y'all, last time you passed through the Schaffenfest, you encountered a couple of things, if I recall correctly. I believe y'all ran into, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all ran into Elvira, right? The apothecary?
Yes, I got some stuff from her.
Right. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was not mistaking that for another campaign. Okay, so as you're meandering your way through, I need... Let's do... Astaroth, roll me a D100.
Yay!
Interesting.
What happened to his luck?
Did I put that in right, or?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you just rolled 100.
Yep, you did it correctly. So if all the times you could have rolled a 100, this is debatably the best time to have rolled a 100. And the reason for that is as you're all meandering along, you notice that the the crowd ahead of you, this ocean of people, suddenly starts kind of opening up a smidge. Actually, I know what I'm going to do with this. So it begins kind of like it's bowing out, like there's some kind of entity almost moving through it. But as you are kind of drawn to that something is heading towards you, and you can tell a lot of the people are murmuring around you of like, oh, what's going on there? Though most people are kind of too busy enjoying their food or drinking beer and such, and there's no like screaming or anything. It's not like panic is heading your direction. There's something coming that's forcing people to get out of the way. But as you are distracted by that, the four of you see, you do hear a familiar voice, and you hear someone say, "Oh, let go of me, you bastards! I haven't done anything. Let me go!" And you hear a man go, "Ah, you little runt! Thieving little bastards! I'll cut your hand off!" And as you look over, drawn to the commotion, you see there are two men, one of whom seems to be angrily holding on to the arm of what you at first think might be a child, and you realize it's not a child, it's a halfling. And then three of you, I should say, Lenny doesn't know this halfling, but the other three of you then immediately realize that you know this halfling. It's P.
Well, this can't stand.
And
Indeed.
she looks very upset. And the man holding her says, "I know you stole from me, you little shit!"
Question: is this the same person who accused me of stealing from them?
I'm gonna roll a d10. Yes! What are the odds? Yes!
100. Dorathandrel is going to stalk over. Are you accusing more people of stealing from you again?
The man will kind of he scowls, and when he sees you, there's like, you see first recognition, then concern, if not fear, but then resentment and anger is what settles last. And he says, "Fuck off, knife ear, this doesn't involve you." And Pete kind of like pulls and says, "Let go of me, let go." And as she's trying to pull away, he just full on like steps forward and just hits her with the back of his arm as he's throwing her arm away, and she goes down hard.
Dorathandrel's gonna grab this man.
I'm going to assist. You beat me to it.
Okay. Dorthandrel's there is closer. So Dorthandrel, would you be so kind as to roll me a melee brawl? And I'm gonna roll a post for him. And also, for anyone curious, I am more often than not, I will be rolling my physical dice because Ben is an assistant GM, so he can help me run this thing, and I don't want him to see what the rolls are.
I can cover the chat log.
It's okay. I've got dice right here. It's all good. All right. So, so he is going to beat you by a pretty, not by a lot, but by enough if you want to fortune point. Currently he is winning.
All right, well, does one fortune let me win? Because if not, I can't reroll because I succeeded on the test.
Oh, yeah, you're correct. Never mind, you can't reroll. You jump forward and reach out for him, but he was waiting for you, and he was ready. And as your hands go for his arm, he steps back, and I need you, anyone who wants to be involved in this circumstance, to roll initiative.
I'm in.
Oh my god, it's been way too long. Combat tracker, here we go.
Yeah, I'm sitting here going, wait, forget. Is there a certain button I click for initiative?
Okay, an encounter has started. So you're going to go to your character sheet.
Oh, we need tokens on the field.
You do need
to be
tokens.
marked.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
Kaboom, 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 kaboom. Let's see if I can get a basic bitch enemy here.
Then you click on the token and you do.
If you right-click your token,
Yeah.
icons will pop up on either side. The swords with the cross shield will let you toggle and enter a combat state. Then under the encounter tabs where the chat is, you can click the dice next to your token in the list.
Perfect.
All right, and he does have a buddy with him. So y'all are going to be facing off against those two. One of these buttons. How do I roll initiative with these nerds? Once again, I apologize to everybody that is watching. I'm rusty as shit. It's been a long time.
I've enabled both of them into the combat state,
Thank you.
so they appear now.
Okay. Dorthandrel, being an elf, you're the fastest. Of course. So, that being said, he does have 1 point of advantage.
All right. Well, if he's stepped back, can I get between him and P?
Yes, that will not cost you anything. Like, it's literally just a step.
First falsely accusing people of stealing and now beating revelers in the streets. How far you're going to impugn your fellow merchants. And Dorthandrel's going to try to grab him again.
That is not the right token for this guy. It should be this guy. Whoops. This guy shouldn't exist. There we go. Hold on. I'm just switching a thing out real quick. Okay. Close enough. All right.
All right. So I make a melee brawling attempt.
Cool. It's
to
gonna be
touch him.
it's gonna be on this guy, not the it's the dude on the right is the one that punched P. He's a little
Alright.
smaller than his friend. All right, and then he is going to roll to a dodge. I guess I'm just gonna roll flat agility with him. That's fine. Okay, so you got +3. He got -1. Thank you. All right, so are you? I'm sorry, you're just
I'm
punching
grappling.
him. Oh, you're
I'm
grappling.
grappling.
Okay, so you do successfully grapple him.
Alright, so then it's an opposed strength to see if I've successfully grabbed him.
Yes. Let's go ahead and roll strength, and then I will roll opposed with him. Actually, I could just... Ooh, you won! Just barely! Actually, no,
What do
you
you mean?
won.
I won by 3.
Yeah, you did. You won by a fair bit. Never mind. So yes, you have successfully grappled him. You managed to wind your arms around him, and you are putting your superior height to work as he is struggling against you, and he's saying, "Let go of me, you son of a bitch!"
Guards, this merchant is attacking... What is this, the fair? The Schaffenfesters. I'll leave the righteous calling out to Astaroth. Dorothandrel's not good at it.
Okay, Astaroth, your turn.
As Dorthandrel is holding him, Astaroth is just overtaken with anger. He's walking up and he says, "I'm going to separate your jaw from your skull now, and I'm going to roll to punch him in the face."
Real quick, roll me a -10 perception check. I am taking your anger, your emotions into account with this.
Good.
Which is where the -10 comes from. So, Astaroth, how tall are you?
I'm a little man. I'm 5'3".
Okay. So through as you are stalking towards this man, and I'm only giving you this because you passed your perception. As you are stalking towards this man with vengeance upon your heart, you hear cursing coming off from your left, and as you turn to look, you catch through a number of like people kind of weaving out of the way and stuff. You finally see what it is that everyone is parting to avoid, and you realize that it is an entire squad of the Watch. It is 10 very well armored individuals, armed with a motley mix-up of clubs, halberds, and swords. And you are immediately able to tell the reason you hear a lot of the cursing and so many people are going wide around them is that these guys are just trampling anyone that doesn't get out of the way. They look very no-nonsense. Like, you've seen a lot of guards watch patrol that seem like they're just enjoying themselves, who seem that they've been, while they've been on edge or stressed, whatever, overall they're like enjoying the atmosphere, having some drinks. These guys look like the kind of dudes that take every job as if it is the apocalypse. It is the end times. Everything must be taken more seriously than can ever be taken seriously. Like, they do not ever turn it off for any reason. Which is why everyone's like, oh shit, because they are definitely the types of dudes that if they can find a reason to arrest you, they will arrest you.
So I see this. Should I roll a cool check
That's up to you.
on top?
If you think that, which I've done that with my characters in the past, as a reference, like if you think, like, I realize that my character should do X, but my character is too emotional to necessarily be thinking straight, unless like he really has a moment of, okay, no, this would be the better decision as opposed to the gratifying decision, then you can absolutely roll a challenging cool check. Or you can even modify it yourself if you wish. That's up to you. That's a personal decision, not a GM decision.
No, I'm going to roll a cool check because
Yeah, and
I
I'll
feel
say
like that's what
the more upset you feel, like if you're like, oh, I'd really like to hit this guy, but I know better. You know, that'd probably be an average cool check. But if it's like, that son of a bitch just hit this weak and defenseless person who's not only a weak and defenseless person, but is a halfling who's more like a child. And not only is it a halfling that's kind of like a child, it's a girl halfling that's a child, if that plays into your morals. And not only that, it's my friend P. Well, then it's going to be like a minus 30. You know, like the more you stack onto it, the harder the test is.
Okay.
Like, I would probably tell you challenging. Ooh, you rolled a 5.
Wow.
Cooler,
I did a minus 10.
Yeah, cooler heads have prevailed.
So as I'm just beelining for him, I slow down and I see the guards and I turn back to him and I kind of just cock my head back and look at him again. You're so fucking lucky. Guards, please, over here.
All right. At your call, you see 20 eyeballs all creepily, almost simultaneously lock onto you with an intensity that is a little unnerving, and they pick up pace big time. Like they have entered a jog. You hear the sound of armor going as they all start making their way towards you.
They're coming towards us, right? They're not ignoring us?
Oh, yeah, no, they're coming right towards you.
Dorothan
cool.
will relinquish the merchant. He is not in the line of duty of doing the guard's work.
So the sergeant at the head of them, who is very much over, like, you could tell kind of by looking at does any of you have lore heraldry?
No.
Oh.
Just Reichland.
Empire.
You can roll me a challenging lore Reichland. And for lore Empire, you can roll me a minus 10. Actually, no, it'll be challenging as well. You can do a challenging for lore Reichland and for lore Empire.
No.
Nope. Okay, never mind. all I'll say is that these guys seem to be way too into their work. But as they approach the sergeant, who is like, you would argue that he's over armored. Like, he has a full-on plate breastplate on, amidst like some mail and leathers. Even though it's actually quite nice and cool outside, even though there's, lots of people, which is driving the temperature up a bit, you could tell he's sweating because he's like wearing a lot, but he does not seem bothered at all. If anything, he almost seems to be that kind of guy that maybe takes a little bit too much thrill in working his ass off. And he approaches and goes, "Oh yeah, what's all this then? What's up? What's happening? What's going on?"
Darth General points to the punched out halfling and then to the merchant.
These two guards have they accused this elf earlier of falsely stealing. This watch was here earlier and acquitted him. And now they are trying to say that this defenseless woman stole from them. And not only did they accuse her, they assaulted her. And the watch is already, like I said, there's already a recorded incident of them falsifying theft claims once.
So at this, two things happen. The first is that you've noticed that the merchant's friend, while you all were kind of dealing with the burger and the little scuffle broke out, and you called the guard over and something, when you all kind of look back, his friend has mysteriously vanished. He's gone. He faded away into the crowd, but the burger was not so fortunate because he was being held. And he immediately just starts blabbering, being like, "Oh, that's not true. He literally, quite honestly, is babbling. Like, he cannot get out a full sentence through some mixture of embarrassment, anxiety, and anger. P, on the other hand, like, you see her look, and you see like recognition light up in her eyes. And there's only like, and as you point her out, all the sergeant and the guards look at her, and the split second before their eyes fall upon her, like magic, she breaks into tears. Like, tears just dripping down her face, and she's like, "Oh, it's so terrible. And she's wailing. And the sergeant scowls and looks up at the burger, and says, "Explain yourself!" And once again he starts babbling. It says, "Oh, it's these ruffians, you see. It's a whole scheme. They've been messing with me the entire day, trying to steal my wares." Let's do Astaroth's the one addressing them. Astaroth, I need you to roll a average charm check.
Just because I'm curious, what is his wear?
That's a
leather
great
strips.
Yes, that's true. He sells cuts of leather. Not leather armor, but a lot of things that you would use leather for, so like making belts or repairing pieces of armor and stuff like that. That being said, Astaroth, you are not actually taking this test alone. And the merchant rolled a 96. So, I don't even have to roll for P assisting you, because that's
rolled a 6 or a 96?
A 96.
Okay, because just the 6 came through. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that's probably because I was leaning over in my chair. No. He rolled a 96. He's completely fucked. So, as he's babbling, the sergeant takes 2 steps forward, grabs onto his sword, and he like jerks it out so that when the blade comes out, the handle just slams right into this guy's gut, and he goes, "Oh!" and just falls over on the ground. And the sergeant, like 3 guys immediately come forward and just start kicking the guy. Like, just start absolutely laying into him with their boots.
I'm going to like start ushering P away.
Probably wise.
Yeah.
Did we all notice that the other guy disappeared? Or do we have to roll?
No,
roll for that?
By the time you like looked around, he's gone. This is not his party. He was hanging out with his friend. He might have been hired by that guy. It's, who knows what their relationship was.
Not hired enough to deal with that, though.
Yeah, that whatever their relationship may be, it was not a strong enough bond to endure this.
Okay.
The sergeant turns to you and goes, "We'll take it from here."
Thank you, Sergeant. Thank you. I'll turn to P.
As various people stop to stare at the merchant being beaten, and as they do, the sergeant's eyes like scan around as the other watch people come forth, and eventually they stop beating him and start picking him up to drag him off to the festival jail. But the moment they start like looking around, everyone just goes, "Oh, okay," and just goes right back to whatever they were doing.
Oh wow, something more interesting to look at, like this ground.
So the second that they're like off of y'all and they're gone, P immediately stops crying and starts wipes the tears off her face, goes, "Oh, how lovely to see you, lads."
Good to see you as well, P.
Hi, it's so good to see you. What did you steal from them?
Astaroth.
Why would she need to steal? She could entertain and get all of the drunk men's money.
She kind of has, she sort of pauses for a moment. She goes, "Well, when he first accused me of stealing, I didn't take anything from him. I didn't steal from him. But then he was such an arse about it." And then she pulls out a pouch and sort of shakes it. She goes, "If he's going to accuse me of it, I might as well make it an actual threat."
Good on you, P.
The racist bastard. Who would steal leathers?
He tried to accuse Orthendril of stuffing leathers down his pants
His
earlier in the
tights.
day.
Yeah.
From 10 feet away from his stall.
Can't help but wonder if he's running a side gig just shaking people down for extortion money.
Probably was.
Well, I'm glad to
He's
see
out
you.
business now.
I'm glad to see you darlings made it up here safe and sound.
Same to you. Are you all right, though?
Oh, I'm fine, dearie. Don't worry about me. Unfortunately, being a halfling in the Empire comes with its risks.
I do have to say, this Schaffenfest is not the fun entertainment you made it sound like.
Oh, I've been having tons of fun, dearie. Maybe you're just not having enough drinks. Have you been actually going about all the stalls, playing the games? That's what Schaffenfest is for.
I've been too busy having people throw shit at me
Quite literally.
and accuse me of theft.
The dangers of being an elf in the Empire, dearie.
And then we had to go get Astaroth here at Horse. So
Oh, you
we've been-
got the horse. And she actually looks at you for the first time, Athros. She goes, "Well, look at you, Sir Hurrah. Where'd all this come from?"
Oh, I lost Shane since we last saw each other, P. It's a lot to get into, but I'm a squire now.
A squire? Well, look at you moving your way up in the world.
Also,
Mom would
P,
be proud.
this is Lenny. Lenny, this is P. We met on the road coming down from Middenheim.
Hi.
Ah, Lenny, nice to meet you. And she does like a little curtsy.
Very polite. Are you also here to help with the Manticore issue?
Oh, no, dearie. No. I can't imagine I'd be helpful for anything involving a manticore, save maybe giving it the smallest of snacks to slow it down for all of half a second.
Oh, unfortunate, but happy to have met you. How are you? You just met on the road?
Why, yes, dearie, I encountered your companions back at what was that little place called?
Coach and horses?
Yes, lovely little inn. Not necessarily the nicest place, but not too bad, all things considered.
Well, actually, one thing you mentioned earlier, I think I've also been missing out on the festivities here. You said there were games?
Why, yes, dear.
Here?
If you want, I can take you. I've seen a couple of marvelous things. I saw a fortune teller. Do you believe it?
Lenny's gonna smile, look at the rest of the group.
She kind of takes Lenny's hand into both of hers and like pats him affectionately on top of the hand and says, "What kind of games do you like, dearly? What are your strong suits? Let's see if we can win you some pride, if not some money."
Ooh. Anything dangerous. I'm particularly interested in.
Well, if we're going to do something dangerous, we should start off with some drinks. And she starts leading you off towards a beer tent.
Lenny follows excitedly.
I suppose we could maybe take a break.
P buys a round for everyone of beer.
I mean, not going to turn down free beer.
I absolutely would not turn down free beer. No, sir.
So everyone could just do an average consume alcohol check. But then she starts. Let's see. All right, Sigmund. Oh dear. Okay, you're all feeling it, except for Lenny. Everyone but Lenny is. Lenny's got.
I think Lenny last time was the one that failed, and everyone else succeeded. So I think we're all on the same level now.
Okay, so everyone's got a point of drunkenness, which just a reminder, it really only affects like what is it? Intelligence, agility. I want to say weapon skill and ballistic skill, if I recall off the top of my head. Oh wait, there's a thing for it in there.
Yeah, I just don't know which of these symbols.
Don't think it's under conditions.
It should be. I think it's just a -10 on anything that's not like strength, toughness, and fellowship, if I recall correctly. Actually, fellowship might be affected by it. Great, I gotta look it up. Otherwise, it's gonna bother me.
-10 to weapon skill, ballistic skill, agility, dex, and int.
Ah, okay, so I was close.
-30.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and after that, other things start happening. So P leads you into the festival proper and starts kind of showing you around a bit. A couple of like interesting things that she has seen, and I'm trying to find the damn. There it is. So, first, she takes y'all to, oh, I know just the thing, dearies, a nice group activity, for the four of you. You'll have to forgive me if I'm not participating. I'm not the strongest, as you see, but, I saw a tug-of-war game. Let's go do that, dearies.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually sounds like a good time. Especially with Lenny here. Probably pull the whole damn rope himself.
So she does lead you out to a bit of a field here among the Schaffenfest, where sure enough you see that there are large crowds of people surrounding 3 circular spaces that have been kind of carved out among the folk, where there's like packed down dirt with lots of dirt and mud from people participating all over the day. And sure enough, there's multiple tug-of-war games going on. And one opens up just as y'all arrive. So it is a team activity, and you can have there is a group of 4 ruffians that are local folk by the looks of it, who are wanting to show off. You could see them all flexing and talking smack. And if you want, the 4 of you can contest them in a game of tug-of-war.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like
Let's
a plan.
do it.
All right.
Are they really about to compete with 2 sailors at pulling on a rope?
Yes.
Yes, they are, because how good you are with a rope, unfortunately, does not help in this instance. So, y'all are going to be going up against, we will do 2 peasants, a warrior, and a rogue.
Have they also been drinking?
Yes, but luckily drunkenness does not matter. So, the way this works is very straightforward. You are each, y'all are line up by one another. They line up on the other side. classic. There's a little line in the sand, and they yell, "Go!" Everyone knows how to do tug of war. It's easy as shit. So all you're going to do is you are all going to roll an easy strength check, and we are going to add up all of your success levels together, and they're going to do the exact same thing. And whoever gets the most success levels wins, as you will pull the other team, and they will all fall over and get dragged through the dirt. So it is an easy strength check.
How
Does this count
one
as
roll strength?
opposed?
In what fashion?
In the sense that I have 2 ranks in strong back and get +2 on opposed strength tests.
Yes. If you have a relevant talent, then it will. Yes, strong back will help you with this.
It's I have tenacious, but it's more for like enduring hardships. But this feels like
Tenacious will not help you in this instance because this is not going to end up being like a long drawn out thing.
okay.
It's going to be much
Oh my
more brutal
God,
than that.
Lenny.
This is easy?
Yes, it is easy. Here, I'm going to let you all roll first. Okay, so that's plus. Wow, Lenny is like.
It's a good day.
Lenny, did you do easy? Are you only strength 22?
Oh yeah. No, I'm not sure.
Wow. Okay. Lenny's like, let's do it. That's funny.
Strike challenge.
Okay, so 6, 10, 13. I still need Hawks.
You need hurls.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
need Hurls.
it's not.
Oh, that's Sigmund.
It's not
know.
letting me.
We're basically the same person. I know.
So you're clicking the spend XP to increase. You click the number at the bottom of the character sheet where it says current.
Oh, yeah, I gotta undo that.
You can
Now
right
is-
click and it will undo the 2 you put in. So if you right click the check mark, it will drop and refund the XP.
Okay. What was the roll? Just-
Strength, easy.
Yeah, it's an easy strength check. So you just click on the S.
Not the S, the number in red below it.
It's one. Adds one to ours.
so that is y'all got 14 points. So far they are at -1. Let me roll the other ones. They're
I feel
actually
pretty confident.
they're actually reasonably strong folk. Okay, so that's going to be a 4 for them, so that puts them at 3. And then their big guy does only gets a okay, yeah, no. Like this guy if this guy doesn't crit, they are absolutely screwed. Oh my god, he crit.
No way.
Yeah, he just did.
Okay.
I crit too, just to let you know.
Oh yeah, you did. Okay, so those will actually cancel out. So yeah, no, so there's a lot of heave and everyone just going back and forth, and it's actually a pretty brutal affair in that y'all kind of absolutely destroy them. Like it starts off pretty reasonable, and then the 2 older lads the 2 not as large lads, one's younger, one's older, start kind of buckling a bit, and then the most wiry, lean member of their group really digs his heel in, and it seems like he's about to rally them, and then Dorathandrel counteracts. And Dorathandrel is able to kind of, like, you see him wrench the rope in almost kind of a weird way that sends like a little bit of a whip through it. Like you see some kind of motion go through the rope, and it causes one of the members of the front of the other party to kind of like let go. Like he sort of slips, and the moment he loses control of it, y'all just give one big heave, and the 4 of them rush forward and just eat shit, just getting tumbled along the ground. And the crowd cheers.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah. I need another pint.
There's great applause, and you are each awarded a ticket that will get you a free drink at the any of the beer tents in the festival.
Ah. Excellent.
And P is clapping her small hands enthusiastically, saying, "Well done, dearies, well done! I knew you could do it."
They didn't stand a chance.
Is there anything else you lads might want to do? I've seen some flat racing. There's a greased pole climb for any that feel particularly ambitious. I've seen hammer throwing, if any of you are particularly gifted with those articles. There's even ankle rolling if you really want to show off your strength.
Ankle rolling?
Anchor diri, like a boat.
I
Ah.
thought you said ankles.
I heard ankle, so I was like, no, I'm good.
There is flat
What
racing,
angles?
but I think ankle rolling might not be the most popular of sports.
Pretty
Is
good
there-
running.
You guys want to try some axe throwing?
She is walking and talking with y'all. It says, do you want to get another drink first, or do you want to go play some more and then drink? I'm going
Bro,
to
I
get
want my
another
pint.
drink.
I
Actually-
agree.
I actually need to roll for P, which I'm so happy that she has a provided for thing here. So she actually needs to take 2 checks. Because she is drinking along with y'all. Oh, P. Oh, P.
Is that the right?
Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely right. Yeah, she's feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Yeah, she has 2 points of drunkenness. She's having a great time. If anybody else is joining P for the second drink,
Seeing how I'm maybe thinking about doing the run, drinking before running, probably not the best.
Was
Yeah.
it
that's up to you.
challenging or average?
It will always be average for these drinks.
A little watered down. Oh my goodness.
All right, Astaroth has 2 points of drunkenness. So does Lenny.
Let's go.
Also has 2 points of drunkenness. Dorothandra has 2 points of drunkenness. Y'all are getting schwasted.
Yeah. Holding off because I want to do the run.
That's fair. That's fair.
Did you spike these?
Like
No,
a shot in there.
dearie. Did you spike them?
I don't think so.
The Bogenhofen, my friend. I'm sure all the vendors have put just a little bit of extra in their drinks for everyone to enjoy.
That's the joy of the Schaffenfest, dearies. The drinks aren't just piss here. There's a little bit more to them. She leads y'all along. Y'all actually do manage to catch a game of Minball that's on, where various men in ramshackle faux armor are slamming into one another, fighting over a ball of pigskin. But eventually, you make your way over to where the flat races are taking place, which a flat race is quite literally just a race on foot, where there's a starting line, and for this, there is what they call the peasant track, which is just a really rough, muddy mess of a road that you can run along. But it's free to participate. Lots of kids participating, and people like just having a good time. But there's also a slightly more serious competition, which costs 10 fittings to participate, which are brass.
Mhm.
And if you win that, you get the winnings.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I
All right.
will definitely participate.
Who all is gonna race?
Astaroth is.
Yeah, let's do it.
Dorothandrel is sitting down with P to watch people run and is getting nowhere near that mud.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
going-
I should note the paid for track is it's dry dirt. Like they actually moved it to a nicer spot. You know it's like just walking around the festival as far as dirtiness is concerned.
Oh, come, Dorthandrel, have some fun. The road's pretty
you're built
dry.
for it too.
Yeah, you're taller than the rest of us. You got a longer stride. You have a better chance of winning than anyone else here.
Running around to entertain a crowd does not befit me.
It's not to entertain them, it's to line your pockets.
And show off.
Pete kind of like waves a hand. She goes, "Oh, go on, manlings, have your fun. Me and the elf are just going to sit here and reminisce about how racist and shitty you all are."
Yeah, and I will leave a lot of my traffic, so I'm not running around with like an extra 50 pounds of gear.
That's fine. P and Dorthandrel can presumably watch it for you. Well,
Yeah, I'll do
as
the
well
same.
as a fairly drunk halfling and elf can.
Yeah,
Lenny's gonna go for the paid for track.
same.
Astaroth, you doing the same thing?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to cost you each 10 brass coppers or finnings to participate.
Can I give a silver?
You
Can I
can
trade?
They will do a currency exchange with you, so you can hit the down arrow. Oh wait, no, this isn't roll 20.
Right click and it'll reduce your shillings by 1, and then you get 12.
There's 12. There's 12. So add 12 brass in exchange for 1 shilling, and then reduce the 10.
Right.
Okay. So, flat race. The way this works, I'm also going to add an assortment of random peasants who will be joining, because no burger would be caught dead doing this. They're all busy selling stuff. We'll add 1 rogue who's going to be a little more sneaky. So, the way this works is it is an average athletics check that you then add your movement to the success level. The first person that reaches... Actually, I'm not going to have... let's do that many. The first person that reaches 15 success levels is the winner.
Okay. Is
Are
it
we slower
movement
because
or
we're
your
drunk?
run?
It is your... You're going to add your regular movement, not your run movement. So, like, you're going to add 4 because you have 4 movement.
Okay.
Okay.
So, it is an average athletics.
What does being 2x drunk do to us for this?
Nothing. Hilariously
Yeah.
enough.
Sick.
Okay. And then I get +1 for having sprinter.
Oh,
Yes.
Well,
you-
athletics is agility, isn't it? Which is a -10 per level of drunkenness.
no, that's correct. So yeah, y'all will be at challenging instead of average. Because running while drunk is hard.
So would I be at challenging, but thinking of myself +10 because I'm only 1 level drunk?
If you're only 1 level of drunk, then yes, you'll be at +10.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead.
And then I'm at a challenging, right?
Yes.
I'm at
you are-
I'm at 2 levels drunk.
Yes. Okay. The first peasant did not do well. The second peasant did not do well. Lenny did better than they did.
oh
Oh.
my gosh.
Okay, then I gotta do this guy. Okay, so he is... I'm only gonna keep track of him because the other 2 are so far behind it's not even funny. So the rogue is currently at a 6 because he's got +2 plus his movement, which is 4. Everybody else, calculate what you're at. Remember, if you fail a check, you can use a fortune point to reroll if you would like.
I'm at a 5.
Let's see here. I'll re-roll. Yeah.
Ah!
It's same.
So Lenny got a crit fail, a fumble.
Oh,
Trips on the starting
so
lines.
as you are all running, Lenny, you take off running, and you get the sudden feeling that the ground is not... It's moving too much. It is fighting against you. And as you're stumbling, you kind of go sideways and bounce into an older peasant who is also participating in the race. And while he manages to kind of keep going, this proves too much for your drunkenness. And you just wipe out. You trip over yourself. You go down and your chin just smacks into the ground. You're going to take 1 wound and you are out of the race. Because you are dazed for a minute.
I'll lie down.
You just stay there. All right. Next round. Make sure you're keeping track of your points. Remember, it is your success levels plus your movement. If you end up with negative despite that, then you're just at a 0. Ooh, he did not do good on the second one, but he is now at an 8.
Oh, I did really well.
Ooh.
So
Very
that
nice.
puts me... Yeah, that puts me at 14.
14, you're almost there. The end is in sight. I guess I should roll the peasants. Might as well. They're both at absolutely. They would have to roll very good to have a good chance. That's not bad. +7 on their first one, though they were a -3, so they're only an 8. So they've actually caught up to the peasant dude. And then the last chick, or dude rather. Oh no! So the peasant that the peasant that Lenny ran into earlier. Have y'all ever seen like when someone gets hit and when they're running and they lose balance, but like they manage to keep on their feet and they're like windmilling their arms trying to regain balance and they just keep running and running and running. This is that guy until unfortunately for him it's like he just can't. He's not able to get his balance back. And finally, he just pitches and he slams headfirst into a barrel that has been set up along the barrels that have been set up along the side of the edge of the track to like mark where the track is, and just knocks himself out cold. This is turning into a surprisingly dangerous race.
Yeah.
I still
Harold's
need...
just in the bathroom. So
okay.
You just want to roll for him?
Yeah, that's fine. Let me pull up his thing. He has what, 2 levels of drunkenness?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a challenging.
He also hits that barrel.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume he's gonna want to fortune point that, but I will wait until he gets back.
Yeah.
All right, so wow, people are dropping like flies. Half the racers are out. All right, let's do the final roll. Sigmund, it's you versus the last 2 little peasants. Unless you do really, really bad, you will win the race. Okay, the burger definitely does not win.
Oh, I'm going to fortune point that.
Well, you don't need to. Oh my god, another one goes down! Oh dear god! Okay, so another peasant the other peasant, I should say, just absolutely eats it. This one, as it's a younger man, and as he's running, he starts gaining on Sigmund, and he's like so hopeful. He's like, oh, I'm gonna catch him! And then as he's too focused on running and he's pulling up his right foot, it hits against the back of his left leg and he trips and goes down, and you hear a distinct pop from something as he hits the ground and tumbles, and he just lays on the ground. You just hear a
I see we are actually rolling ankles.
Sigmund, despite the fact you got a -4, that just means you don't move any further up. Unless you've got like a talent. I
put my sprinter talent in, but that's only unless I get the added flee, which
no, you are not fleeing in this instance. It's more of a controlled run. But yeah, despite that, the only other guy in the race, the one other human being who has survived this most dangerous of trials, is only at a 12. So he's still far behind you. You just kind of are gassing out close to the finish line. All right, so it's just you versus him. One last roll.
You see, P, this is why you don't race for the crowd's entertainment.
Ideally, it seems you made the right choice. Look at them. They're dropping like it's the greatest battle we've ever seen. All right, Sigmund, with that, you will pull across the line ahead of everywhere else and look behind you to see the death and destruction that has been left in your wake. Lenny is on the ground. Another person is completely knocked out after having rammed themselves into a barrel. There's a young man groaning on the ground, and people are starting to kind of move in, and you hear a lot of people are laughing, but there's also like concerned family members and stuff going, oh my god, are you all right? Astaroth, let me know when he's back. Sigmund, you win. You get 60. Actually, no, the guy is actually going to shave a little off the top. You're going to get 55 brass coins.
Okay. I will give my friend back their money, so I will take 35 brass pennies and they can have theirs back.
Okay, That's fine.
Thank you.
All right. We will deal with Astaroth when he gets back, because
Yeah.
presumably he's gonna want to reroll, but I don't want to use a fortune point for him.
Well, he's gone. I'm gonna use this real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. Wow, I was not expecting the race to be so devastating. The race actually, so the paid for Flatfoot race actually closes down for a little bit over concerns that there's something wrong with the track. So after that, Pete chuckles and she goes, "So, Liddy, was it?
Yeah.
You all right, dealer? You took a pretty nasty fall there."
It's fine. I feel nothing.
You got a little bit of blood dribbling off your trend, but other than that, you're fine. She nods and she goes, "Well, we've dealt with the dangers of the body, but how about the dangers of the soul?"
Done. Let's do it.
Oh, come with
This
me.
is great.
Come with me, dearie. I want to show you something. And she leads you away, walking definitely not in a straight line.
How's everyone else doing?
Dora Thunder will stand up and presumably, if Astaroth does not reroll that, assist him in moving for the perils of his soul.
Yes, we will assume that Astaroth is fine for the moment. Until the dice say otherwise. All right, so P leads you a little ways through the Schaffenfest amongst all the various merriment, and eventually she takes you to a fairly large, bright red and yellow tent that has all sorts. That it's far more colorful than many of the tents nearby, which are more of just kind of drab browns or yellows or kind of motley colors. And you know, it definitely is covered in dust and stuff. It's not like a noble's tent by any means. And there's no other embroidery or anything on it. It's just like the simple colors. However, there is something very eye-catching about it. And as P walks you up, she goes, "There's a mystic here who can see your future, which gets the Sigmarites in all right, Tizzy."
Well, we do have a lot to think about in our future. I'm interested to see where I end up.
You mean one of those wandering priests of Moor?
Oh, no. She's not a priest. It's Mystic Margaret.
Oh, could die.
Alright.
Let's go see the perils of our souls.
P claps her hands excitedly. She goes, "Oh, good. I was too scared to go in by myself." So, is there anyone that does not want to go into Mystic Megret's tent? Oh my god, it's Ecto. Hello.
I'll go in. I don't know if Astaroth is going to partake.
I will partake.
Okay. And yeah, let me know when Hurls is back.
Believe he
I
is.
am back.
Okay, great. So, Hurls, during the foot race, I don't know what was wrong with the track, but of the 6 people participating, 4 of them rolled crit fails. You were one of them, because I rolled for you. So you rolled a nat 100, which means something very bad is going to happen to you, unless you would like to fortune point.
Yeah, I'll fortune point that.
Okay. If you would do me a favor then and roll me a challenging athletics check and don't crit. Because otherwise,
fail.
because the other guy that rolled a nat 100 literally went face first into a barrel and knocked himself out. A 9. Okay, there you go. You're fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Sigmund still won. We gave Sigmund the winnings, though he did pay you all back the. He
10.
did. Yeah, he gave you all back your entry fee money because he's nice.
Thank you.
All right. So
How much did he win?
No, decent amount, like 35 brass.
55 pennies.
Okay, so y'all make your way into the tent, and the moment you step in, the atmosphere changes. The tent is quite dark, and it definitely has this mysterious aura to it. It's very the moment you come in and the flaps close behind you, all the sound becomes very muted, and it almost has like a slight sereneness to it. And just ahead of you, on a table that has like a nice little purple tablecloth on it, there is a glass orb, and sitting across the table is a very particular woman you see waiting for you, and you hear a, "Ah, I knew you would come."
Oh, what's up with your eyes?
Pay no mind, dearie, I'm merely looking into the future. And she kind of waves her hands around the glass orb in front of her. She says, come, have a seat. Let Mystic Margaret look into your future.
Lenny will sit down.
Can I attempt to whisper something to Dorthandrel?
I don't know if you know this, but whispering is not actually a skill, so you don't have to check for it.
I'm gonna whisper to Dorthandrel, say, "Do you see anything?"
Lenny, you're freaking out.
I am looking for the Wind Vizier. Or the heaven.
Okay.
For it acting unusually around her. I know I can't go like, "You're a wizard," but if she's channeling it, I should be able to see it.
You're a wizard, Lenny.
You roll a challenging perception check.
You know, funny thing, being drunk does not hinder your perception.
I may be
Of
drunk
all
and
the
I can
things it
see
should.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this tent in a low light condition?
Yes, it is low light. But that's not going to affect this check now that I think about it, because you're looking for the winds of magic, which do not care about lighting. Nope, you don't see anything. So, who all is going to sit down around the table?
Most
I'm gonna
definitely
stand
me.
in the back.
Dorthandrel will, and he will stare at her.
Sigmund will sit down as well.
She kind of she kind of keeps like waving her hands, but then she like kind of slowly pauses. She looks at you standing and she goes, "Do you not wish to see your future, dear?" And Pete kind of like giggles over the corner and goes, "Oh, dearie, no. I'm quite fine with the present as is." And Margaret kind of pauses for a moment and goes, "Well, it's not a sightseeing show, so if you're not going to pay, then wait outside. So that I can show the rest of them their future."
I will be
Well,
several coppers
okay, then.
poorer.
So she will kick you out if you're not going to pay her. But if you do, if you are sitting down, so final tally, Lenny and Sigmund are sitting down. Dorthandrel and Astaroth, what are you doing?
Dorthandrel's sitting down.
Okay, Astaroth, what are you doing?
I guess I'll sit down.
Cool. She nods and goes, "I must attune the crystal ball to your essences." And she kind of like holds out a wrinkly old hand. She goes, "That's going to cost 10 fittings per head. Head, not hand."
Hand it over gingerly.
Yep. I'll do the same.
Dorthandrel will
on it.
toss in a shilling and take 2 of the pennies that other people put in.
All right, one left.
I will put in some of my winnings that I earned.
All right, so that's all 4 of you? Okay.
Yep.
She pulls her hand back and the money mysteriously vanishes very quickly. And she goes, yes, I see it now. And as she's moving her hands around, there is a sudden shift in the room. Dorothandrel, you get it's very brief, but you get a very distinct feeling of the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. As if, like, there's just some sort of bizarre shift. And as she's looking at the orb, and she kind of moves her hands around it, she goes, "Ah, yes, yes, I see a dark man. He is not what he seems." And then her eyes become how they actually look in the art, where they roll back into her head. She goes, "Yes, I see 7 men and 2. One of the 2 will destroy the others, and many more besides." And then she looks over at you, Lenny, and she points at you with one finger, the nail shaking slightly, and she goes, "You beware of a big man, a rich man. He will bring you much danger."
Do you know anything else about him?
She pauses for a moment, and then I'm gonna roll a little thing for her real quick. Oh my god, what a good roll. Okay. There's a pause, and she starts leaning back in her chair, like she starts settling down, and she kind of hunches over a little bit, and her hands come down, and very softly you hear, ow, I just ran into something, ow. Very softly you hear her say, "The sign of the rose is red, dripping blood." And then she kind of sinks into her seat, and she doesn't say anything else.
Then he will nod quickly. Look at the others.
Was that it?
As you say that, she suddenly sits up in her chair and leans against the back, and she goes, "Is that it? What do you think? I'm running a charity here? You got what you paid for. Go on, get out."
Sorry, which of
Alrighty
those
then.
was my future?
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
I was confused about.
she scowls and she goes, "I gave you all what you paid for. I see your paths interwoven. So what affects one of you affects all of you."
Lenny
Now-
will run out of the building.
Lenny, notably paled, departs.
I'm gonna go check on Letty.
You know, there is, after Lenny leaves, there is formal training available at the colleges in Altdorf.
At this, she cackles a little bit. She goes, "I am no wizard, dear."
No, but Azir is a hard-to-watch wind.
"I don't know what you're talking about, but I can assure you my gifts have nothing to do with those wizard types. I am no witch. I've been telling fortunes for many years. How many years is none of your damn business. Now, if you're not going to pay more, if you don't need anything else, piss off."
What would happen if I did pay more? He will say, taking out another shilling.
Ooh. She pauses, and she looks at Sigmund. You're still in the tent, right?
Yeah.
She looks at Sigmund. She goes, "This is becoming a private conversation. Go away."
Sigmund will hand over 12 pennies and take the shilling from Dorthandrel. Just so he doesn't have to get swindled his 2 pennies from her.
I said out! Get out!
and then I'll leave.
Dorothandrel, she turns back to you, and her manner becomes... You see a far more calculating, look come over her face. And she sort of pauses for a moment, and she goes, well... And her voice is now completely different. And she goes, that would depend on what you're looking to purchase. Elf. There are things I can exchange. Your kind tends to be awfully gifted at certain things.
He will nod.
She steeples her fingers, and she, as she relaxes into her chair, all of the kind of atmosphere just sort of breaks apart. It all just sort of you become keenly aware of how much she played up when y'all initially came in, and that she's not really bothering to do now. And she goes, there are things that I can teach for the right price, if you'd be so inclined. Or I could just give you another prediction, another look into your future, but elven futures are difficult. You live for far too long. It's messy. And you're so emotional and prone to change.
No. Dorothandrel will admit emotional, but at change, he'll be like, no. Humans are the changeable ones.
She kind of leans forward and she goes, yes, and that's why your companions are all out here living their lives. Meanwhile, you seem to be more just running away from home.
I wouldn't say that. I was sent away from home.
You'll be getting a letter from your father soon.
Well, it doesn't take a fortune teller to know that. He'll pause and consider and look at her. Okay, maybe it does for you.
She sort of smirks and she goes, it will bear ill tidings about a matter you thought resolved.
Dorothandrel's gonna push over 10 pennies. Which matter?
she looks down at the pennies and sort of rolls her eyes, and she goes, I could see the future, dear. I can't just read things that people send. Otherwise, I'd be working for the Imperial Post.
Oh, well, you did say it was a long life. I had assumed perhaps you have some gift at narrowing down specifics. But
what I can do for the right price, if you have the time, I could teach you to see yourself.
Is this the moment you bring out a mirror?
She chuckles and she goes, no, but I know that elves are prone to already being able to see things that mere mortals cannot. I can teach you to harness this gift, to allow you to reach in and see things that are yet to be.
Intriguing.
I've been at this a long time, dear. I can tell when someone has the gift. And you have the possibility of awakening this gift. Granted, I think all elves do, so you're not special is what I'm trying to say, but you get the point.
Oh, I am indeed very special. Though you've been at this a long time. Not a couple 100 years.
I told you, I'm not a witch.
Ah, then it's unlikely you could be of assistance. Many more older, wiser, practiced individuals have tried.
I'm not offering to teach you magic, if that's what you're insinuating.
Oh, good. I thought you were trying to do that.
I told you. I can help you see what will come to pass in a manner of speaking. But it is not magic. I resent that. Keep saying that, you're going to have the witch hunters kicking down my door.
Well, did she have her name across the door with Mystic in it?
Yes.
Ah, well. I'm certain your sign would be more than enough leeway for them. But if this does not have anything to do with the winds,
I will say...
color me intrigued.
I will say, Dorothandrel, being as well traveled as you are, being an elf, having been in Marienburg and stuff, you are aware of mystics. And there is a distinct difference between a mystic and like an Azerite wizard. Now, being an elf, you have your very deep suspicions. If you were to talk to your people about mystics, they would say, oh yeah, no, they're absolutely using the winds of magic. Undeniably, they're using magic. Just like their priests are using magic. They might not admit to it, and they might not understand it because they're too stupid, but whether or not they realize it, they are using magic, even if it's in kind of a weird way. But functionally, what she is offering you is, if you would like, she is offering you the ability to go into the mystic career.
Ooh.
I'll consider it. You will be here for the full festival?
Yes! And I tour around the Vorbergland, so even if you miss me at the festival, I shouldn't be too hard to find.
I shall consider your offer.
Very well, then.
I'll leave the 10 pennies on the table as I go.
As you do, and she grabs them, she goes, the matter! The Finns give up that which you believe they had taken. Ooh, spooky!
Dorothandrel's gonna storm out with a scowl on his face.
All right. As Dorothandrel walks out, P looks, and she goes, "Oh, I'm so glad I didn't stay. You all look miserable."
It was terrifying. There's something about a rose. There's a big rich man. Do you know how many big rich men there are?
Oh, that's so genetic, Diddy. I'm sure she's just completely full of it. All rich men are dangerous. That's just the nature of the world. And a bleeding rose. All roses bleed. They're red.
Aye, Letty, she's right. Don't let it get to you.
She sounds like a fraud. Come, let's do something more fun.
Okay. And Lenny will follow along.
As we're walking, can I make a gossip test to see if any of the people that were, like the stalls that were passing, have come up through Versal and passed through Sarag?
Yes. Roll average gossip check.
Oh, nice one.
Okay, and you were asking if they had passed through where?
My hometown.
Unfortunately, asking around, you do not hear anything specific. The only thing that you do catch, the only thing you catch people chatting about is you actually hear talk of, the only thing you actually hear talk of is some local politics, really. Like a conversation you managed to interrupt. And you do ask about your hometown, which, remind me what direction it's in?
It's in the former province of Solon, so it's down south.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, you don't hear any news about that specifically, but you do hear two things. First, you hear the conversation you interrupt, which is that, you hear, a man who's dressed in the livery of a servant. And you can tell that he is either in his time off or he should be doing something work related and is just here instead drinking in one of the beer tents. And he says, I'm telling you, Counselor Tugin only attends guild meetings in the evenings. He's had the entire Merchants Guild timetables reorganized to his nocturnal preferences. My sleep schedule is completely fucked because every time we're just doing things at night now. They don't do anything during the day like normal people. It's horrible. That being said, when you do interrupt and ask about your town, the man he's talking to goes, I don't know nothing about that place, but I have heard that things down south have gotten a little rough recently. Rumors about, heard a bunch of them, was it Ostlanders or Ostermarkers? Apparently some big army of theirs was parading back north, saying that they defeated a bunch of greenskins down in the Badlands. But my cousin says, well, not my cousin, but my cousin's wife talked to one of her girlfriends who was servicing, if you catch my drift, one of them soldiers, an officer. And he says they lost. That they didn't beat the greenskins and that they got their asses kicked. And that them greenskins are building up bigger than they ever seen before. And that they're gonna come, if they come north through the pass, and then Averland and everybody down south is, well, you know how them greenskins are.
Yeah. I've heard the tales.
A little sobering news there. If true.
Yeah.
Could just be a rumor. But, alright, anyone else want to do anything before y'all continue on your way down towards tourney grounds? Because P is actually leading you vaguely in that direction now. So, the tourney grounds...
Where can we get a stiffer drink?
Nathaniel.
Do you still want beer, or would you prefer something a little more to your taste, Dory?
What's a dory?
You're Dory. I can't be bothered to say Dorathandril every time I want to say something to you.
Oh, we're
Sorry.
just shorten it to Dora.
It sounded very similar to what the dwarves call themselves. I was perturbed.
Would you prefer Dora or Dory?
Dory.
And she looks over at Sigmund and says, see, I was right.
Something stiffer. More than beer.
I know just the place. She leads you along a little bit, and y'all start getting much closer to where the eastern wall meets the southern wall. And near the there's as you can see here, there's a postern gate nearby where y'all are winding up. And around here, there are the tents are slowly getting grander and grander and grander. Y'all have headed kind of away from like the peasant hovels and just where everybody is, and you are now a lot of the people you're mixing with. While there are still the fair amount of like peasants, so to speak, there are a lot more burghers, a lot more merchants, a lot more like people that look like they're nobles or nobles' sons. A lot more people are looking much more nicely dressed. And she leads you to one tent that it is not a situation of like, it's just an open space where there's maids walking around with like stacks of beers held in their hands, just giving them to anybody and everybody. Instead, it is more like they have a long bar with a lot of series of different barrels stacked up behind them on their sides with like taps and stuff. And you order drinks that are served in steins, and there are guards actually standing at the entrances to make sure nobody gets too rowdy, as well as making sure that you do not take your steins with you unless you pay for them. Because this is actually one of the tents where you can buy the Schaffenfest 2512 steins. Because turns out, make kind of like uniquely designed drinking mugs every year. They're collectibles in a sense, though they are nicely made. They come in wood or like pewter variants.
And how much are they?
The wooden ones are... Oh my gosh. I didn't have... God, page. The wooden ones are roughly... The wooden ones cost about 2 silver. The pewter ones cost about 5. But if you just want to buy a drink and do not care about the other stuff, it's a little pricey, but they are selling some pretty high quality spirits for about 3 silver a pint.
Dorathandel immediately plops down 3 silver.
Yeah.
That is their strongest shit. If you just want some decent wine, that'll only cost you 2 silver. And if you just want they don't sell the cheap swill, but they do also sell some fairly heavy beer for about 10 brass a pint.
So I can't present my drink token for one of the beers here, can I?
You can, but they will give you like the worst thing they have. They will technically honor it. But you'll get some dirty looks.
I'll give them the drink token and 2 pennies for it.
Okay, they're still going to give you essentially just regular ale, but they won't give you the dirty look.
I'll pay 2 silver.
So you want wine? Because the really heavy shit is 4.
Yeah, I'll get some wine.
All right. Ooh, look at you being all fancy. Well, it doesn't have to be wine. There are like harder spirits that is not like the crazy shit, but is of the same price as the wine.
Lenny wants to be fancy.
All right, get you some wine. All right, that is going to be a challenging consume alcohol check.
Mine's just average, right?
Oh, is that a crit fail on the elf?
No, that was a pass.
Ah, very nice. Wait, I thought you were getting the super hard stuff.
Oh, then it's probably a failure still.
Yes. It is a failure, but it's not a crit failure, so that was still worth the reroll. Because it would be a -10. Not a 0. Because it like the really expensive stuff is strong.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say if it's a -20 or more, I would have just decided not to reroll.
No, it's only
taken the fun crit failure.
No, it's only -10. So you fail only barely, but you are at 3 points of drunkenness, which means if you fail again, you are gonna roll in the stinking drunk table. Sigmund's fine, Lenny's fine. Dorthandrel is as close to he can to being blackout drunk without being blackout drunk. Hawk, are you... Or no, not Hawk. Astaroth, are you buying any drinks or are you good?
I'm good for now. Astaroth is going to abstain.
All right, Penny P is going to get herself a decent drink because she has plenty of money. Let us see how she does. So she's gonna get like a good quality beer.
Nice.
So
she's
obliterated.
She has a tankard in front of her, and she leans over. She takes a really big swig, and she looks at the 4 of you, and she kind of like nods her head. She goes, "It's so nice to see you all again, dearies. We should spend more." And then her head just thunks on the table.
I'm down.
Oh boy, I got her. I'll pick her up and drape her over my shoulder.
It's very easy. She's quite small. All right.
Did she buy that mug?
Oh, does anybody want to buy a mug?
I'm not much for souvenirs.
I agree. No need in having something like that on travels. Just get broken or destroyed.
Pull out my dented one from the inward. My noble knocker. I already got
The
one.
noble knocker. One of those boys died, just saying.
Question, we now have a drunk effect. How drunk are all of you?
I have 2 levels.
I only have one.
2.
And Penny is gone.
Yeah, Penny's out.
Penny has all the levels.
Alright, you shouldn't need to factor in your drunkenness anymore. It will automatically do it.
Thank you, boss.
Oh.
Uh, Yeah, P, as she is on your shoulder, who was it that picked her up?
Astaroth.
Yes. Unfortunately for you, she crit failed. So as you pick her up and set her like against your shoulder, almost like a sleeping child, she vomits.
I just bought these sasses.
And it goes, luckily,
Oh,
it goes more down your back and like your shoulder, not on your front. But yeah, gross.
I can live with that.
Y'all are very disdainfully looked at by the patrons and very quickly shoot out.
Yep.
But yeah, you now have vomit on your back, and you will take a penalty to fellowship checks until you get that taken care of.
That's going to have to be something for next time, because I think me and...
Just that you gotta take off.
Yeah.
Okay, that is actually a perfectly fine stopping place. So, and we, do I want to leave y'all with a? No, I think Mystic Megrit gave y'all enough to chew on. So I will not leave y'all with a cliffhanger. We will just start off next session with a loud bombardment of activity. So
Oh,
yeah.
great.
that is a cliffhanger.
Well, yes, but you don't know the nature of the cliffhanger. So, thank you all for joining. It was very, very nice getting the crew back together. Hopefully
Yes, it was.
Hopefully we can have another session, maybe next week.
Yep.
So next month. But good. Hopefully everybody had fun. Everybody gets 100 experience. Good job. All of you did some really cool things. And everyone actually had a pretty nice moment to shine, I think. So make sure you make notes about what all happened. If you want any of that information to be relevant again. I am not going to remind you of certain things. So, for instance, Mystic Megrit's predictions, those are up to you if you want to remember them or not. And also, if you ever want to deal with the Trapper again, any of that, that's on you. So, yep. That's going to be it for that. For everyone in the Twitch chats, yeah, that's it for today. Do appreciate you all watching. However, good news, I'm going to be back in just a little bit for Shadows of Change. Make sure y'all receive the experience. So I'm going to be back to stream Shadows of Change. I am going to be playing you on bow. Because reasons that I will explain, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. So I'm gonna take, I think, maybe like a 10-15 minute break to finish eating a sandwich, and then I'm gonna get back to streaming. Any questions before we go?
Yes. Does finding Gordy count as finding a monster killing expert for our party short term?
Yes, y'all have accomplished your party short term. I'm sure Ben will do the magic thing for that. So,
Yep. And I found P, so that's my personal short term.
awesome. Yes. So,
Ah,
yes. So, everybody's gonna
It's
get
interesting.
a bonus 50 experience for finding a monster expert. Though, if y'all will actually get to make use of that or not, we will see. And then, Dorothandrel is also going to gain an additional 50 experience for his portional short term in finding P Lock Pocket. So, which, hey, congrats to Astaroth for rolling 100, because I was actually not going to have her show up this session. Then I was like, oh, this is perfect. Though I'm a little sad he failed his cool check, because I will let y'all know, if you had punched that man, you were all going to prison. There was, they were not going to give a shit about who was the right or wrong if you had thrown that punch. But luckily for you, you passed your cool tech.
Roll gods were kind of on my side today.
Yeah.
But
So
sometimes.
So 2 quick notes before we go. Number 1, think about a party short-term goal. We will decide what that is at the start of next session. And also, one thing I would heavily recommend for everybody, if you have not done so already, is a piece of advice I saw from the Lawhammer guys that I want to pass on, because it's like, oh yeah, that's genius. I would heavily recommend, when you have some free time, sitting down and thinking about like 3 to 4 goals that your character personally has at this moment in time, and having those written down somewhere. That way, if you accomplish your short-term goal, you can immediately have a pool to pick from for a new one. And whenever something happens where you're like, oh, that's something I would love to like look into more or figure out or accomplish or anything like that, that would be, update your list. Because that'll make your life a lot easier. So we will figure out a new short-term goal for the party next time. I would think heavily about that. And that's gonna be it. Thank you all for joining.